What's your favorite pizza place in Saskatchewan? You can call us right now, 1-800-716-2221, or for this, you can email bluesky@cbc.ca. Now, I'm joined by two people who know a lot about this. Alan Pulga is our Regina Bites columnist here at CBC and one of the biggest hype guys for Regina-style pizza. Alan, welcome.
Thank you, Alicia. Congratulations on the new podcast to you and Nicole.
Thank you. And then with me here in Saskatoon is our Saskatoon Bites columnist, Naomi Hansen. Hello, Naomi.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Thanks for being here. So you're both listening along, and now we're all ordering pizza for supper tonight, I think. Alan, what'd you think of Jim?
Honestly, he speaks to Regina Pizza as though it's a treasure, and I agree with him. He's a treasure as well, my goodness. Like, you can just hear the love of his craft permeating through his commentary, and yeah, it's authentic, it's genuine, and it's love, it's passion.
Yeah, totally. Naomi, what did you think? The lengths that he goes to.
Oh, I want to know more about the garbage situation, right?
An undisclosed location.
The espionage in business. Like, I would love more details about that, but I don't think you're going to get them out of him. So,
if you didn't think Regina-style pizza was a big deal, and then you hear that podcast, you're like, okay, this is serious business. Alan, and you know all about this. Hey, Alan.
Yes.
And I remember growing up, and I don't know, I just thought this was pizza. I didn't really think of it as anything that when we ordered pizza, this is how it came. It was this thick, square slice of pizza.
It's true. And like, if you're from here, that's normalized to us, right? Like, you grew up in Regina, you order pizza, it's like this thick, greasy wheel that shows up. And what's funny is if we had people visiting from out of town, for example, I had cousins come, in summer vacation from California, and we ordered a Houston pizza. And they looked at it like they were absolutely flabbergasted. They said, "That's not pizza. That's like lasagna."
It is like lasagna.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And so they were like, and then they tasted it and thought, "Oh, this is delicious. I get it." But yeah, at first glance, at first blush, it's like people are really surprised, coming from the outside. It's just how thick this thing is.
Yeah, it is so thick. Naomi, what about you? Because you're not from Regina the way Alan and I are. But what was your exposure to Regina-style pizza?
So I grew up in Saskatoon, and I did not grow up eating Regina-style pizza. I don't know if other people in Saskatoon have a similar experience, but we did not. Like, that was not really a thing. I first learned about it when I was doing lots of food writing on the province, and came across it at that point. And then when I was working on my book, Only in Saskatchewan, we featured Houston Pizza in the book. So I got to go there and interview some of the owners, and we featured the all-dressed Houston pizza. It's like an at-home adapted version of it. Cool. Because, interestingly, they would obviously not give up their sauce recipe either. So it's just got in there like your own favorite, pizza sauce, marinara sauce, whatever that you put on there. And yeah, you're not going to get that recipe out of them. So yeah, that was sort of my exposure was much later. I did not grow up eating it, but when I was really researching it and getting into it, I thought, wow, this is a really big thing in Saskatchewan. It has to be in this Saskatchewan collection of recipes. So it was kind of a no-brainer.
And Alan, what have you learned about this style of pizza? Because you also did a deep dive into this. And I know, like, we've put out this podcast, and there's going to be a million critics who are like, we did it first, or this other person did it, and we get our pizza here, and how can you call it this? But what's the story that you learned about Alan?
First of all, I just love the intellectual property debate over it, because obviously people are going to great lengths, and entrepreneurs are going to very great lengths to protect their recipes. And there is some consistency there between when you heard the audio from Jim Baton and how he imports fresh tomatoes from California. That rings consistent with what you hear from Italians in Naples, using special San Marzano tomato. Like, that focus on tomato quality and freshness is the same. And in New York and in Chicago, they take the same care in sourcing tomatoes. So I was like really pleased to hear that from Jim. But what I did learn, so Nicole in the podcast audio, she also mentioned the OG being Houston Pizza. And in my research, that was true as well. They're the first ones. And that was really funny to get Jim's connection to the original Hill Avenue Houston Pizza location. He was working there at age 14, skipped out on church to help with their launch in 1970. And that's true. They opened in 1970. They're the first, to my knowledge, to make this kind of pizza. They called their company Houston Pizza because they were Greek immigrants, and they thought, you know what, Houston sounds North American. It sounds like Texas. It sounds like not Greece. So let's call it Houston Pizza. It rings up, it has a nice ring to it, and this is our brand. Like, it was really kind of arbitrary, Western, doing the same thing, right? With a horse on it. Like, I don't know, like, do cowboys eat pizza? I don't know, but this is where they went with it. 1973 is, to my understanding, when Juliana Pizza in West Regina in Rosemont opened. So 3 years later, they came on the scene, and their pizza's spectacular as well. Same style, Greek style, thick and, generous toppings. And then Western Pizza, I understand, opened in 1976. So there you go. Those are the three, Greek mafia pizza origin stories, and everybody else came after that, whether it's Copper Kettle downtown, Trifons, like Samuel said, eating it in the mall. My kids, that's their favorite mall pizza too, and I think that's a really unique experience for our callers. If you come in from out of town to buy your groceries, you live in Yorkton, do your kids want Trifons Pizza at the mall food court? I want to know.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, we have so much more to talk about. We've got another half hour to go here talking about pizza. So if folks want to join the conversation, 1-800-716-2221 or email bluesky@cbc.ca. Let's take a moment, though, to check in with David Shield, who joins us with today's news headlines. Hi, David.
Hi, Leisha. We're expected to hear more information about the next job action planned by teachers this afternoon. So far, the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation has held 2 one-day strikes province-wide. Talks between the STF and the province are still stalled. If you don't fully stop at a red light while turning right in Regina, you might be getting a ticket. Tickets will begin being issued April 1st. The cameras will be placed at Albert and Parliament, Albert and Sask Drive, and Dewdney and Louvain. And Carmichael Outreach is now trying to give people in poverty food for their pets in Regina. The group has received many requests for pet food. It's encouraging veterinary clinics to donate any of their returned pet food to the project. And I'll have a full newscast for you coming up at 1 o'clock.
All right. David, do you want to talk about pizza before you go? You have a favorite? Do you like Regina-style pizza?
Yeah, I do. I do have a theological question here. So Vern's Pizza, I don't know. So the question is, being that it's in Saskatoon, is that Regina-style pizza? I don't know if it is. It's maybe got just a little bit too much meat.
Well, we've gotten a few emails about this already. Naomi has been doing some digging.
I looked it up this morning because I was wondering about that too. I mean, it is similar in just the thickness, right? The amount of toppings. So I looked this up online, and I, of course, stumbled upon this Reddit thread about Vern's Pizza. And I went on a bit of a deep dive, and people were calling it Saskatchewan-style pizza on this Reddit thread, which is interesting because not specifically, Regina-style, but Saskatchewan-style. So then I looked up some information on Vern's because I was like, is this actually just a Saskatchewan thing? And there are locations in Alberta and a couple in Manitoba, but most of them are in Saskatchewan. But I mean, in terms of the pizza itself, it's not quite the same because they don't cut it into the sort of
the squares.
The defined squares.
Interesting.
But you did get some comments.
The sauce at Vern's just isn't quite as pronounced as it is in Regina either. So.
Okay. Well,
that's my experience too. Yeah, that's my experience too. Less sauce.
Thank you for bringing that up, David.
And one final thing, I would say my favorite pizza has been the deep dish pizza at Congress Brew House in Saskatoon. Real good. Real good. I don't know if it's on their menu anymore, but
I appreciate the plug. Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
I think we're going to get a few suggestions here. I'll be eating pizza all month. Thanks, David. That is the CBC's David Shield bringing us today's news headlines and some commentary on pizza. I'm Leisha Grabinski, the host of not only Blue Sky, but a new podcast called Good Questions Saskatchewan, where we tackled Regina-style pizza. And our guests today are Alan Pulga, who's our Regina Bites columnist here at CBC, and Naomi Hansen, who's our Saskatoon Bites columnist. And we have callers on the line, so let's get right to it. Let's head to Ken, who joins us right now in Regina. Hi, Ken.
Hi, yes. I'm originally from Winnipeg, but I've lived in Regina for over 27 years, and I would have to say Regina-style pizza is unique, like Fat Boy burgers are to Winnipeg. You may be able to get them out, but they're indicative of that place and speak to it. Just as like, New York-style pizzas, you can get them anywhere almost, but they're characteristic of that area and they've spread out. I do have a book from last summer about dining in Canada called Where We Ate, and in the section of the book, the author talks about Houston pizza and Regina-style pizza.
Love it.
So if it gets into a book like that is dining across Canada, it's something unique to Regina then.
Yeah, that's great. Ken, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You're
Ken.
welcome. Thank you.
Let's go to Keith, who joins us right now in Saskatoon. Hi, Keith.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, I remember Hill Avenue, Houston's. We used to drive from Weyburn at all hours of the night, maybe with beer. I don't know for sure. But we used to own a pizza place, a pizza franchise. I don't really want to say because it still exists here in Saskatoon.
Mm-hmm.
We had one. We had an outlet in a different province, and it was our first crack at restaurants and pizza, and so we didn't know any better. Every time a person complained, we fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we made dozens of changes to the product, which the franchise didn't pick up on. So that was kind of weird, but we also named a couple of the pizzas that are still on the menu. T-Rex is one of them, so that might give you a hint.
Okay.
And the big cheese. But yeah, there's so many things. Matzah is a big part of it. You got to have saputo. Sauce is critical. You got to have the right sauce. I think we had 15 ingredients in our sauce.
Oh, wow.
Even the dough
15?
had nine ingredients in the dough. I still have the recipe, but I can't give it out, obviously.
No wonder it tastes better when I order than when I make my own pizza.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff, and you do have to let it sit and stuff and that. But another thing that you can do, anybody can do, is you can pre-cook your meat, like ham, get rid of some of the grease. Upside down works. Like if you have lots of mushrooms and vegetables and you get all that water, you can upside down it. That's still a good thing to do. But yeah, there's some changes I wish they would make. I don't eat there very much. I eat their light product, but I don't like the heavy product as much because it's too greasy, and the dough isn't cooked all the way sometimes. So,
yeah.
But yeah, there's.
Well,
Hill Avenue, Houston. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
So do you have a new pizza place that you go? Because when you start to think of all those spots in Saskatoon, it's like 13 Pies, Primal's got a pizza, Una. The list goes on and on and on. So you don't have a new favorite spot?
No, a new favorite one? We change it up all the time. There's if we're going for gourmet, there's a lot of gourmet ones. We'll go to, I don't like saying names on the radio, but we hit up about 7 or 8 different ones, I guess. It depends on what we're in the mood for. Depends on the sauce you want to taste. And the thick old style, I think like Venice House and Western Pizza and Houston Pizza, the Greeks definitely have it.
Yeah.
the Greeks have figured it out. So.
They clearly have. Keith, thanks so much for calling today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
You can call us too, 1-800-716-2221, or you can email bluesky@cbc.ca. It's a hot topic. I've got a few emails here that I'll quickly share. So, I love this. Joyce emails, best pizza in the world is from Nettie's at Homestead Restaurant in Redvers. Naomi, have you eaten there?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't either, but I want to now.
Yeah. Okay, here's one, Alan, you'll know all about. So Florence writes, don't forget Regina's Copper Kettle restaurant. Its spinach and feta pizza is the very best pizza in the whole world. Okay, when I told somebody else who's originally from Saskatchewan, who now lives in Ontario, she thought the podcast was going to be about Copper Kettle. So Alan, tell us about Copper Kettle.
Well, what I know is it's the Gardicchiotis family. See, I got it one-time pronunciation.
Well done.
That operates that restaurant. I don't know what their origin story, like what year they opened in, but I agree with anyone who says Copper Kettle Pizza is excellent because it is. I like that she mentioned their spinach and feta pizza because that's kind of one of their famous contributions to the Regina pizza landscape. Like most people that want to order Copper Kettle get that, or half that and half all dress or what have you. But it definitely, because it's downtown as well, you get a lot of Sask Power workers, skipping across the street, people that work, at City Hall, or even, just north of their Vic and Scarth Street location. And when we were bar going age too, Leisha, like lots of O'Hanlon's, customers would pop in. You could even order the Copper Kettle. They would serve the Copper Kettle pizza in O'Hanlon's. Yeah. So, yeah, I think and that's another interesting wrinkle to this, pizza is part of Regina's identity story, is that the Saskatchewan diaspora carries the Regina pizza legend with it wherever they end up, whether it's Vancouver, Toronto, Japan, according to Jim Baton. Yeah, there's an affection and a nostalgia for this style of pizza wherever people end up, and you hear many stories about people getting frozen Western pizza FedEx to them for Grey Cup in Toronto. Like, that's not an uncommon story.
I know. I love that, Naomi.
Yeah. So when I was interviewing the Houston pizza owners, they said they have a method of basically packaging the pizzas sort of half cooked so that they can be shipped, and then they send along cooking instructions. And the farthest they said regularly people across Canada, people in the States order the pizzas. And the director of operations, Spiro, he says he literally spends a significant chunk of his time dealing with the coordination of people ordering the pizzas. And the farthest they've sent them was Australia.
You're insane. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Which, I mean, you have to be so willing to pay the shipping costs for, a huge batch of whatever pizza that, halfway across the world.
And add some Pilsner to that order, I guess, too. Or I don't know. There's just something about that. So Saskatchewan.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more caller on the line, Merv in Saskatoon, who's picking his favorite. Hi, Merv.
Hi. So my favorite is the spinach and feta. We used to get the black olives and extra garlic in it.
Oh, yeah.
But the story was we were in there eating as a group, and Robert had to go and check with his staff and his cook because Valdi was in town, and they phoned and said after the show, could they come down and get the spinach pizza? And all of the staff said yes, and Valdi and his staff showed up there at about midnight and stayed there till I think 2 or 3.
Valdi at Copper Kettle.
The story about how famous the Copper Kettle pizza is.
Yes.
And when the Grey Cup is on, I think Robert said he was selling it just about $100 an hour going out down to the Scar Street area.
Wow.
And everybody was getting the feta pizza from the Copper Kettle.
Yeah.
I still make it today, and it's probably the most popular pizza that I make that when people come and visit.
Yeah. Merv, thanks for calling.
Thanks, Merv.
I love that story. Thank
Copper
you.
Kettle had to open a second production location, too, if you recall. They opened one, CK Pizza Express, on Hamilton Street, just behind their original Copper Kettle restaurant, so they could just pump out pizza by the slice and probably fulfill all the orders they were getting beyond the restaurant itself, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that says something. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, thanks for calling.
Take care.
Bye. So we've got another email here from Morena, who writes the best Solo Italia. That's the Ogama place, right? So Naomi, you know all about this place.
Yes. Also spoke with them for my book. So this is so much different though than Regina-style. Could not be more opposite. Yeah, yes. It's authentic Neapolitan pizza, super thin crust, minimal toppings, wood fired. Alan, I'm sure you've been there too.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And such a cool place. I mean, it's this red and yellow Quonset, on the main street, kind of like a very iconic building too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, just a very, very different style of pizza. Melts in your mouth. I mean, you could say that, I guess, about any pizza. But really, it's the type of pizza. I mean, when I've had it before, you could eat one or honestly even two of them, and you just sort of they melt in your mouth. You want to sort of engulf them. Whereas I could not say the same thing about being able to eat that much of a Regina.
You can eat one or two.
Yeah,
No, definitely not.
So very, very different in terms of the type.
And how did they end up in Ogama? Do you know the story of that?
So the owners, Tracy and Marco's originally from Italy. Tracy's originally from Ogama. So they yeah, they met, I believe, in Italy, and then eventually came back to her hometown and opened the Solo Italia, which they do pizza and pasta and some other items like breads and stuff in the wood-fired oven, which Marco built himself. So it's a very large oven. When you walk in there, it smells like just delicious dough that's been, cooked in a fire.
Yeah.
And it's you can't compare to that.
It's authentic for sure.
Yeah,
and they
very
sell
authentic.
that pizza dough in grocery stores across the province.
Yeah, you can actually buy
too.
that. Yeah, you can buy their products in various stores around
frozen
Saskatchewan.
pizzas. Yeah, their product's amazing. I'm a big fan. He even has a Super Mario Brothers mustache too, just to confirm all
That's
stereotypes.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, here's another one from Garth, who writes, one of the best in town is Black Cat Pizza on Broadway. It's the old Nino's recipe. So, Naomi, are you familiar with that pizza? I haven't had
that,
at
actually.
Black Cat either, so we'll have to add that one to our list.
Okay.
And then Al writes, if indeed Regina-style pizza is available across the prairies, it wasn't like that 15 to 20 years ago. My brother and I would buy a pizza or two, freeze them, then take them on our flight back to Vancouver 30 years ago.
There you go.
The place I get za now is Juliana Pizza. And when friends come to Regina, that's the place I take them.
Well, there you go.
So, Al, thank you for writing. And Alan, that's quite something. Have you ever taken one on a flight, Alan? You're eating pizza when you're in Regina and people come to visit you, but you've never traveled.
I haven't, but my friends have. My friends.
Really?
What's funny is they get on a WestJet or an Air Canada flight with a pizza, and the flight attendants are not shocked by that. They've seen it happen. They've seen
No
people
way.
slip them under their seats and everything. So this is like a really, again, common thread in terms of pizza love and pizza transport. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hear more of those stories. The number to call is 1-800-716-2221. You can email bluesky@cbc.ca. I'm Leisha Gravinsky, and my guests today are Alan Pulga, who's our Regina Bites columnist, and Naomi Hansen, who's our Saskatoon Bites columnist. We are primarily talking about Regina-style pizza, but we've extended the conversation to other pizza spots. Naomi, what other mentions do you want to give to places in Saskatoon? I think I've talked a bit about Primal.
Yeah.
13 Pies is another one.
There's also the Night Oven.
Oh, yes.
They do pizza. Yeah, I think probably my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite, would probably be Una.
Tell us about Una.
I love Una. So actually, Una is not a specifically Saskatchewan thing, though. It started in Alberta.
I didn't know that.
So it started in Alberta, and it's owned by Taste Hospitality Group, who has, Picaro, The Cure, Charcuterie, and Cohen's, and Una. But their pizzas, they're not your typical, pepperoni, ham and pineapple, that type of thing. They have more sort of local ingredients. I think probably my favorite, we used to be called The Broadway. It was changed the name to The Local. The fact that I know this is indicative of how
I know
spent
that.
time
I know
there.
that too,
Okay, I'm not
Naomi.
alone. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Is that a favorite for you?
I love it.
Yeah. It's got the maple syrup, smoky bacon and stuff like that. So it's super good. But yeah, lots of different sort of, you could call it maybe gourmet type of pizzas. And
they do wine pairings with the pizzas too, right?
You can, they do wine too. And then their other classic thing that people often do with the pizzas, order one of their salads. They're known for the kale Caesar salad, which is like hard-boiled egg, cheese, and bacon.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the bacon
So it's more about the bacon and the eggs, and but yeah, that's a perfect pairing for any of their pizzas.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Before we get to another caller, Alan, do you want to mention any other Regina spots, or do you just stick to the usual?
I think the Tumblr's re-addition to the pizza family has been really exciting, especially for my group of friends. They love the sauce is boss. You heard it in the interview, and that's a real differentiator between the typical Juliana and Houston pizzas. And as you go toward Western pizza and then Tumblr's, the sauce gets more tangy and has more kick to it. And when you hear Jim Baton talking about curing the sauce for a week, I was so tickled by that because, I didn't know that until you shared that with us, but he doesn't want to tell us what's in it. I've heard legend of pickle juice or HP steak sauce, because there's kind of a barbecue sauce taste to it that people can't identify. And maybe there's actual, barbecue sauce in it. Who knows? But you'd have to go through his top secret garbage to find out.
You're not finding
getting
out
that
from Jim.
One thing I will add, though, is when you mention Regina-style pizza, existing in other towns or cities in Saskatchewan, pardon me, I did hear tell of Rodo's Pizza in Moose Jaw. So if there's a listener who's familiar with Rodo's, it's a Greek-owned pizzeria who apparently has been making the same style of pizza as you find in Regina in Moose Jaw since the 1970s. Give us a call because I want to hear a bit more about that. I haven't had it before, but I'd like to try it.
1-800-716-2221, or you could send us a quick email, bluesky@cbc.ca. Our phones are lighting up, so let's go to some more callers. Bula is on the line in Swift Current. Hi, Bula.
Hi. I would like to talk to you about Acropole Pizza and Swift Current. Have you ever, if nobody has tried that?
I haven't had it.
I haven't.
I have heard of that.
Spinach pizza. It's a Greek family that does it. The family themselves make the pizza, and they have a special nooner size, which is very popular. And in Swift Current, there are people who have stayed here before, have moved away. They get their families to send it out to them. In the same
Sounds
way
familiar.
that it's half cooked. And there is Acropole Special also, which is very popular. But I don't eat meat in my pizza, so I can't speak firsthand. But my friends say it is delicious.
Okay.
But the spinach pizza, I would recommend any day. It's one of the best.
Thank you.
Love it. Bula, thank you for calling.
Yeah. Add it to my
you.
list.
Thank you.
Hot tips from Swift Current.
I love it. Speedy Creek.
Yeah. Thanks, Bula. We've got Jacob in Saskatoon on the line. Hi, Jacob.
Hi there. Very interesting show. I was saying that the pizzas that I like thick pizzas. I don't know if I've ever really had a Regina style, but I like the thick pizzas of Vern's and Venice House. And there's a place in Bigger called Hannigan's.
Hannigan's.
And then something new. Yes. And then something new has opened up in Saskatoon, and it's Royal Pizza. And I presume they are the same people that have the Royal Pizza in Edmonton, just off White Avenue. It's a place that we like to go when we go to Edmonton for the Fringe.
Okay, and it's a thick pizza as well at Royal?
It's a nice thick pizza.
Nice.
Not really tangy like Hannigan's, but it's something we basically make an annual pilgrimage to. We go to the Fringe every year in Edmonton, and every year we make sure we go to Royals.
Lovely.
That's awesome. Jacob, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
We've got Stefan in Saskatoon on the line. Stefan, hello.
Hi. Awesome conversation. God, I want pizza right now.
Thank you.
So one that hasn't, you're welcome. One that hasn't been mentioned is, I would say, Saskatoon's first Neapolitan pizza place, run, of course, by Christie's combination, but Il Secundo on Broadway.
Yes.
Right?
So good.
So that's a old bakery, 1932 originally, and then the Musolini family, Tracy. She actually is a bit of a celebrity chef, and she took over the reins, and her and her brother opened up Il Secundo on Broadway. We'd go all the time, and I will say this about I'm a huge pizza fanatic. I've traveled the world. I've seen and had pizza everywhere. Via Tribunali in Seattle and Oregon is probably my favorite pizza in all of North America. But what I will say is, it doesn't matter where you go. If the pizza is inconsistent, and if the sauce is watery, and if the dough is doughy, it's never going to be a winner. So any one of these places that you've mentioned, they've been around long enough. Those are the problems they've solved.
Yeah, totally. Love that. Stefan, thank you for calling.
Thanks, Stefan.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Do you want to add anything, Naomi, about Christie's Pizza? They've got them in their freezer to go now, too.
That
a
seems
COVID
to be a
thing,
theme.
and it's a great family treat on a Friday night.
There you go.
It seems to be a theme with there's been a few mentions of the authentic Neapolitan pizza, the Greek, the Swift Current one, and then everyone, packaging up their pizzas and letting people have them at home, which is fun.
Yeah, it's nice. Okay, we've got another caller. Let's get another one in here. Ed in Regina. Hello, Ed.
Hi. I want to put in my vote for Triffon's Pizza, the downtown location, only in Regina. Like pierogi pizza sounds weird, but I know Boston Pizza makes one, but I had that in Banff years ago, and it was too spicy.
It is
and I
spicy.
asked the waitress, can you get rid of that? And she said, no, it's the medallions that the spice comes from, the little potatoes.
The
but
potatoes,
anyway,
yes.
the Triffon's one is amazing. I used to manage a wholesale branch here, and I had various functions and training sessions. I always ordered that pizza. A lot of people were skeptical at first, but once they tried it, they just loved it. And I had a vegan or a vegetarian guy come from our office in Vancouver, and I just told him, okay, half bacon on one side and half without, and he ate the whole thing by himself. It was amazing.
I'm all for pierogi pizza. I'll take it. So.
And Triffon's in the middle of the
Like
night.
that
They're
one
one
is
of the
just-
few that are open really late. Like you can go there at 3 a.m. and get a pizza at Triffon's downtown. Yeah.
Nice. Ed, thanks for calling.
I can't say it. It's just fabulous, but thanks.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Ed.
So pierogies on pizza, yes, for me, absolutely. What about things
Carbs.
like butter chicken on pizza? There's a whole bunch of fusion options out there, Naomi. You're like, no.
I'm a no.
No.
I like butter chicken. I like pizza, pierogies, but no, I don't want these things combined.
Oh, there's
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. You can be a purist.
Red
Yeah.
Swan's paneer pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that.
Red Swan, they have like the sesame in the crust. That's great.
that's
nice.
Yeah, that's a winner, but not. Yeah,
Not
I'm not
butter
into
chicken?
combining these things. I don't
Alan,
know.
what about you?
I'm not opposed to it. Like my family, we go for the standards like pepperoni or all dressed and so on. But speaking of Red Swan, their butter chicken pizza is really popular, and I think not even just by virtue of the audience, but the people working there too. You have South Asians making the pizza; it gives it some authenticity too to the combination. So I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
I'll take it. Okay, we've got another caller. We'll quickly get Chris on in Saskatoon. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Great show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cuckoo's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Southeast Asia,
Ah.
Cuckoo's, I went when they first opened, and I'm going to give it a test, I thought. I just ordered a vegetarian, so I know the meats or anything else wouldn't make the crust too juicy or anything. I wanted to see what the crust was like. And they put, I guess when they put it on the pan, they used cornmeal or something. It was the loveliest crust, tasty, and it wasn't greasy.
Amazing.
And once again, Southeast Asian, like you'll get anything from teriyaki chicken to a really good butter chicken.
Okay.
I've heard good things
Interesting.
about Red Swan here as well.
Yeah,
so,
Red Swan is good. I like Red Swan. Good value
And
too.
a fun, fast stove, brick stove pizza just opened up a few months ago. It's called Doughbox on Broadway.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
wood-fired pizza, which is really cool. I mean, you can go in for a half a salad and half a pizza for a really reasonable price.
There you go.
Anyway,
Yeah, well, let's
it's
head
good for
there
me.
after
I'm
the
a
show.
pensioner, so love my food. Thanks
Chris,
a lot, you
thanks
guys.
for
Bye-bye.
calling. So one last one here. Well, actually two. So Lois writes, La Pizzeria on Main in Macklin. My grandson and I agree it has the best pizza ever. And Patrick emails, the hotel in Elbow makes an excellent pizza. Well, there you go, folks.
Wow. So many to
Quite
add
the
to the list.
conversation. I can't believe it, actually.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. A fun way to launch our podcast and a treat to be able to talk about pizza for 1 hour. So, Alan, thanks for being with us
I
today.
can't believe the hour's over.
I
That went
know.
so fast, you guys.
We could have
Amazing.
kept going.
Yeah, it went
So
by
good.
quickly.
Thanks for
And
having us.
Naomi, thank you.
Thank you for having me.